This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Daily with Doc. Let's go ahead and open up that waiting room. Let people in. Folks, if you would like to join us live, you are welcome to do so by going to dailywithdoczoom.com. That will bring you right into our link or into our Zoom meeting where you can join us and benefit from the chat and all the information that is shared there by our co-hosts. And if you have questions, you feel free to raise your hand or ask the question in the chat. Preferably raise your hand, because I do call on people in the order that their hands are raised. But most of all, congratulations on being here and joining with us today as you are investing time into your own health and wellness and adding tools to your own toolbox to help yourself as an empowered individual. My name is Becca Dukes, and as the hostess of this program and also the Director of Student Services for the Institute of Holistic Health and a leader within the longevity community, it is my honor and privilege to be able to bring this show to you. Now, this show is a resource to an amazing community, which I just mentioned, and we want to make sure that if you are invited by somebody specific, that you get back with them with any questions, especially if you're ready to get started on what you need to create a better health journey. So my goal here is to make sure that there is value added in your life. And as we are going through emails, we want to make sure that our content is answering and in response to those emails, because we're meeting people where they're at. And today's subject is something that is near and dear to my heart, as it is someplace that I was at in my health. And fortunately, I found the doctor that we have on with us, who is the main doctor of Daily with Doc and Becca, who really made an impact in my life to the point of giving me my life back so that I could enjoy getting older. And at 53, I feel younger now than I did in my early 20s. And my oldest son even said, "Mom, it's so good to see you out enjoying life, doing things with his kids that I wasn't able to do with him." So, folks, this really is a solution that I have 100% confidence in, because it worked for me and it's worked for many of the clients that I work with as well on a daily basis. So without further ado, I would like to bring to the screen with me the one and only doctor who has done more autopsies than any other doctor or probably individual in this world, Dr. Joel Wallach. Now, for those of you who do not know Dr. Joel Wallach, Dr. Wallach has a Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil. It's in agriculture and plant and soil sciences. He has a doctorate of veterinary medicine. He has 3 postdoctorates. So, you know what a postdoctorate is? and it's in pathology. So he's done 3 big projects in pathology, postdoctorate. And if that was not enough, he is a naturopathic physician licensed in multiple states. So he has the authority to be able to make recommendations to us as humans, but he also has the experience and he has the title to do it for our animals. So he is like the holistic, well-rounded doctor of all time in helping us improve our lives and the lives of even our pets and our communities and everything involved around us. So Doc, welcome to Daily with Doc. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. Thank you so much for the kind introduction, and welcome everybody. We're getting ready for the big day tomorrow, of course, with the Olympics. I think they're starting tomorrow, right?
I think that's what I heard one of the co-hosts say. I've been so busy, I haven't been able to follow.
Okay. Well,
absolutely.
what I
So
want to do, since we're talking about Olympics, all of the people who are in the Olympics, they have problems with their knees and their ankles and their hips and their shoulders and their elbows and their fingers and shoulders, and joints are a big problem. All the friction and movement and pressure and pulling and weights and so on. Let's go back 2,000 years ago. They knew how to reverse all this 2,000 years ago. Okay, now their lifespan back then, it was not uncommon for families to have everybody in their family die at 25 and 30 and 40 and 50. There were places called the land flowing with milk and honey where people lived to be 120, 150. Reasons for that. Okay, it wasn't genetic, but the reason why they had so much universal joint problems, they weren't getting enough of the nutrients. Okay, all the minerals that they needed. Only in the land flowing with milk and honey were they getting all the minerals. So what I learned was that they figured it out by having bone broth. Now, my grandmother used bone broth. Bone broth is they would take bones and put them in a pot of water and let them simmer all night, and then they would drink the broth in the morning. They were getting the minerals that were sucked out of the bones as the bone was being simmered all night on the stove, okay, or in the fire where it was. And they were still using bone broth when I was a kid. And we came up with something much more convenient, much more simple, okay? And we came up with a healthy bone and joint pack. The healthy bone and joint pack was the original healthy start pack, which had the 90 essential nutrients in it. And so we added a product that I personally created it, was called glucogel. It was designed to regrow cartilage and ligaments and tendons and connective tissue, okay? And it was one of those miracle things. Everybody in the world, 80 countries and thousands of people every day all over the world were using Dr. Wallach's healthy bone and joint pack, okay, because it had the 90 essential nutrients plus the glucogel. The glucogel is still one of our greatest additional products to the 90 essential nutrients. I take 3 of those twice a day, and I'm 85 years old. And you don't want to get into a fight with me because I can still duke it out with you. Okay, so I just wanted to tell people the history that this is where the glucogel came from, was to deal with it because people after 1812 most people stopped boiling bones and making bone broth because they had electricity. And they weren't using bone broth anymore. And so everybody was getting joint problems. They didn't make the connection between the electricity and the bone problems, but I did. I'm talking to thousands of people a month, and they all have the same story. So it was easy to get to the basic root cause. And so that's where the healthy bone and joint pack came from. That's where the glucogel came from. We also have MSM. And so I take 3 of those MSM twice a day. I take 3 of the glucogel twice a day, along with my 90 essential nutrients. Okay. And I've been doing this for a long time. And so I don't have any bone and joint problems. Okay. And I'm 85 years old. It's one of those things. No matter your age or gender or race, you can do everything. Take the healthy bone and joint pack, take extra glucogel, take extra MSM, And if you live in places where it's really cold and windy and snowy during the wintertime, take our vitamin D3 along with it. And your joint problems will go away. Your bone problems will go away. It's one of those miracles. Very simple stuff. Okay. And I also want to kind of shift just a little bit in talking about gardening. We still have a couple of months left in the year for gardening in the Midwest and the West, and it's maybe even in the East Coast. Okay. And so the blooming minerals is something everybody needs for their gardens. Blooming minerals. It comes in 4.5 pound or 2.5 pound canisters. There's 76 minerals in there. Okay, the blooming minerals has 76 minerals, plant-derived minerals, and then it also comes in 40-pound bags. And you can grow tomatoes, you can grow bell peppers, you can grow onions, you can grow peas and green beans and pumpkins and all kind of stuff in your home. Okay, if your garage has glass windows, you can make your garage one of those places where you grow a garden inside. If you have a porch, okay, that has screens so the birds can't get in there, you can grow all these things on your porch. Okay, so you take your 90 essential nutrients. We have like 3 or 4 or 5 different ways to do that. You take your bone broth, which is the glucogel and the MSM. Okay, take those things along with it, and then grow your garden, and you'll add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life. And if you have bone and joint problems, you'll be able to get rid of them. It's one of those things where Theo Ratliff, great basketball player, okay, and he, I think, graduated from the University of Wyoming, 1991, okay, and he was after he was drafted in 4 years because of his great shooting powers and defensive powers in basketball. He was which they brought him on to the Detroit Pistons, okay, and in the NBA draft, and 2010, and that's when we met him. He was still having joint problems, and that's when we came out with all the stuff that he was on. We put him on it. We regrew they wanted to give him a double knee replacement, hip replacement, and of course his career would be over then. He wanted to do that. So we got him on our program, and in 3 months' time, we started him in June, and by September, they hired him back. They drafted him back because he didn't have to have all his joints replaced. And it's one of those things where he did such a great job in the world. He got $100 million in contracts, okay, which he acquired over the next 9 to 10 years. So that's our story about the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack and the MSM and the okay. And so this is one of those great things. And it's a good thing to talk about the joints now because of the Olympics. They're going to have a lot of joint pain in the Olympics, let me tell you.
Absolutely. So one thing I wanted to mention about Theo, Doc, is he was hurt and he got traded to Atlanta Hawks. And then after you fixed him, he went to the LA Lakers and did phenomenal. So he really, thank you, co-hosts. Yeah. So he really was able to rebound.
Rebound, there you go.
Yeah, as Rebound is the product that he has his face on, as he is one of our is he a brand ambassador of the Rebound product and really promotes that because it has helped him so much.
He made $100 million in contracts.
Yes, I like Rebound too, Doc. I take it with me. I share it with my kids, my grandkids now.
Hold it up so people can see it. Hold it up so people can see it. There you go.
Yep.
That's one of my
especially on these hot days, Doc. I mean, they're looking for electrolytes. I can't think of something that is more,
It comes in boxes of 30.
of 30 of these.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. It also has a canister, so you could do a little scoop, put the scoop in your 612 or 16-ounce water. But folks, when you're looking for an electrolyte, a lot of the things that are out there that we think of when you think electrolyte drink only have 3 or 5 electrolytes. Electrolytes are minerals. This has 77. So do you want 3 or 5?
minerals
You want 77
Yeah.
with vitamins, not just the minerals and amino acids and things that are going to help boost and strengthen every cell of the body, especially bone and joints. So I think it's a fantastic, Dr. Wallach, that
Yeah. Yeah, he uses 3 of those a
you,
day. He weighs a couple of 100 pounds. You know, he's like 7 foot tall, so he uses 3 of those a day. I take 2 a
he's
day of the
6'10".
Rebound. I take 2 rebounds a day, one in the morning, one in the evening.
Well, Doc, the nice thing about it is when you're continually giving your body nutrition, then the body is just going to thank you and improve in every moment by moment. So, Dr. Wallach,
hmm
one of the things that I suffered with, and I got an email about it this morning, was degenerative bone disease, discs, degenerative bones and the discs. So the vertebrae and the discs breaking down. Is it possible? I know it is because it happened for me. But what would you recommend? And is it possible to rebuild the vertebrae and the discs within the spine?
Oh yeah, you can rebuild the disc very easily because they are the perfect example of connective tissue. Discs, tendons, ligaments. We're talking about the joint cartilage, tendons, even the heart valves.
Mhm.
Okay, will love Rebound because the heart valves are made out of the same stuff your cartilage and your joints are made out of. Okay, and so it's one of those things where you have the same thing going on in your kidneys and so on, heart, your lungs, and so the Rebound is a wonderful program, and which I say, it's one of those things where we made it so when Theo was having like 2 games a day kind of thing sometimes, you know, one
Practice and
for
games and
practice.
really exerting himself. Because folks, as you've heard before on the show, when you're sweating, it's not just water, it's a soup. It's a soup of minerals that are being pulled out of the body. If you don't replenish those minerals, you're going to have breakdown.
So
And it's not in
the Rebound was made for him, and that's why his picture's on it.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Dr. Wallach, Andrea is asking a question, and I'm going to read the whole thing because I love this. She says, could you ask my hero, Dr. Wallach, is glucogel, can it repair meniscus in addition to growing cartilage? I'm
Yes.
asking for my hubby, 60 years young, he's taking 24 capsules of the glucogel a day in addition to the 90 essential nutrients. And then she also mentions that it sounds like Rebound is an excellent adrenal cocktail.
Yeah, and of course, any tissue that contains connective tissue, whether it's a valve in your heart, it's the walls of your arteries and veins, it's your lungs, it's your bones and joints, tendons and ligaments, heart valves, all those things require the 90 essential nutrients plus the connective tissue builder, okay, the Rebound and the glucogel. And so I have 50 bottles on my kitchen table. And I take, 2 to 3 of those 2 to 3 times a day of each one of those. I've been doing it for like 50 years. Okay. And that's why I'm 85 years old. Most people think I'm 50 when they look at me.
Well, Doug, glucogel is what I took. I was taking 3 times a day. At the time, I was 268 pounds, taking 5. In addition to taking what is called the pig pack, which was the previous version before the bone and joint pack came in. Then I moved over to the bone and joint pack. And it's not just you take this for this. You've got to give the body the full 90 essential nutrients that you found to be required to sustain life, right? Because our cells are not just made up of glucogel. The cells are made up and require 60 minerals, 12 amino acids, 16 vitamins and minerals, and 3 essential fatty acids, which, yes, if you do the math, folks, that's 91. But 90 for life sounds a whole lot better than 91 for life, I think. It flows better, right? So share with us, Dr. Wallach, what would be your full recommendation for somebody who has had a torn meniscus and looking to restore the strength of connective tissues, not just in the meniscus, but it's going to affect the whole entire body?
That's correct. So they need to get rid of all the bad stuff to maximize absorption. So, you're not letting stuff come in one end and go out the other end. You'll be able to absorb it. So no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, wheat, barley, rye, and oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. And then even the diet one's got to go. Okay, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet one's got to go, because carbonation neutralizes stomach acids, so you cannot digest food or absorb minerals. Then you need to take the 90 essential nutrients, and you can take the Healthy Start Pack, which is the 90 essential nutrients. So take the Healthy Start Pack, and if you have bone problems, you throw the glucogel to it, so then it becomes the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack. Okay, and then of course we have the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, okay, which has more nutrients in it. And it's one of those things, and when you read the book, The Truth About Nutrition, and you look at these famous athletes who were in the Olympics and in universities and this and the other, and they're dying in their 20s, and they were just playing sports for 2 years. What was going on? Well, they were sweating all their nutrients out. They weren't supplementing properly or at all, and so they paid the price. They would die maybe just 2 years after they started sports. And it's a terrible thing, but it's a true story. And of course, we name a lot of the most famous ones in the book, The Truth About Nutrition. And so it's imperative that you get these books to kids and even adults who play sports, whether it's just for fun, or if they're in the school playing sports, or if they're
All right, Dr. Wallach, I'm going to ask you to mute, please.
unmute.
Yeah, that one.
There you go.
And then we'll see if we can get
I
your
did it.
camera back on. Okay, Dr. Wallach, I just want to apologize, everybody, as we are experiencing some wonderful bombers. Yeah, so you're doing really good, Dr. Wallach, and helping people.
I don't know what else. I don't know any other button to push.
Yep, don't touch anything. You can't touch anything right now, but go ahead and talk, Dr. Wallach, as we get some things worked out here.
Okay. Well, basically, look at the statistics. They're crazy when you think about it. When you look at today, the arthritis population in the United States, okay, the U.S. population is 332 million people. Okay, 332 million people. There's 58.5 million cases of arthritis in the United States. 58.5 million cases. That's 1/6 of the population. Now, those are cases that people went in and got tested and x-rayed, and the doctors put them up so that they're in what should I say, in a family of people with arthritis. Juvenile arthritis in the US is under 16 years of age. We have 300,000 in the United States, 3 million in the world, kids under the age of 16 with arthritis. Annual cost to the United States in just treating the symptoms of arthritis, not to prevent it or cure it, but to treat the symptoms of arthritis, $626.8 billion a year. $626.8 billion a year just to treat the symptoms of arthritis. And osteoporosis, which is even worse because it's entire, all the bones are involved, not just the joints. And so when you have osteoporosis, you combine the United States population, the Canadian population, and the European Union population, combined each year, we spend $6.5 trillion just to treat the symptoms of osteoporosis, not to prevent it or cure it. This is crazy when you think about it. This is modern times. We know the answers. Why are not people paying attention? Well, because doctors make their living by treating the symptoms. So all the, well, I shouldn't say, but most of the treatments that the medical system have developed over the years treats the symptoms. They don't prevent or cure the disease. They treat the symptoms. The people are just, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how happy I am. I was so much in pain, just couldn't, I just sit there and sweat. When my doctor gave me this new medication, I'm one of the first ones in the town to get the medication, my doctor said. Yeah, he tells that to everybody. And so he gets paid every month when you buy your painkillers. You know, down deep in his heart, he may want you to be cured, but in his wallet, in his bank account, he wants you to keep coming back every month. So that's why he just treats the symptoms instead of getting rid of the arthritis. Type 2 diabetes is $342 billion. $342 billion to treat the
Hey,
symptoms
Doc,
of diabetes. Yeah.
can you go ahead and click your video icon? And, you had mentioned, doctors, prescribing medications to help with the pain of joints, but they may not know the value of nutrition and what it can do within the body. So I'm not able to ask you to start your video, but in the bottom left-hand corner, you've got the microphone for audio, and next to it is the one that's video. Just click on that video. Right now it has a line through it. Nope, you muted yourself. Okay, now click on the first one again. Okay, now I see you. Now you need to unmute yourself, please. So it's just the very far left corner, bottom corner. I can't hear you. I see your lips moving now, but I'm not able to read lips that close. You got it. Nope, that was the video. Okay, video's coming back on. Now you should be able to, you're unmuted. Now turn the video back on. So it's the second button.
I still have to touch something?
Yeah, the video camera. So you touched the video camera before and it turned it back off. So now let's turn it back on. So you are not muted, so I can hear you as you're talking now. And hello? We might be getting it. No. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Have a seat. Don't touch anything.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You need.
So I just want
to see
Dr. Wallach
button.
Well, remember, if you touch at the top of that and pull it to the bottom, then we can get that other stuff out of the way. But Dr. Wallach?
Yes.
You were going on and telling us some of the high dollar amounts to treat symptoms, but it's managing poor health symptoms. It's not really treating the symptoms themselves other than masking them. Correct?
Is correct. So when you're treating symptoms, for instance, aspirin doesn't cure anything, but it relieves pain. People love aspirin because it relieves pain. It's cheap. You don't have to go to a doctor and spend a doctor's visit. Just go to the, any pharmacy or even the grocery store. You can buy aspirin in a grocery store. And it's one of those things where that was one of the greatest things for humanity, was that painkiller, aspirin. Okay. And aspirin can help prevent blood clots. Okay. It prevents blood clots. And so aspirin is really a great little product. And so it's one of those things where the good Lord said, let's do something for people.
Well, and it comes from the white willow bark, white willow being a magnificent tree with medicinal characteristics, properties, components to the bark, which I think is wonderful, Dr. Wallach, that we're able to take things from nature to help us without having to take something that's been chemically created in a lab, which I know a lot of the pharmaceuticals are stemmed from something natural, but then converted into something that is harmful to the body, especially the kidneys and the liver. So, and as folks, if you've listened to pharmacist Benedal, you've heard him mention how pharmaceuticals can create deficiencies by blocking the body's ability to be able to absorb specific nutrients. So like calcium channel blockers, phosphorus blockers, potassium blockers. Those are all nutrients that are essential to maintain health. So figuring out what would cause them to not be absorbed properly rather than blocking them is a better option. Am I correct, Doc?
You're correct. And of course, this is why we have the books like Let's Play Doctor. It tells you how to diagnose diseases, how to treat them with nutrition.
I've got the books for you, Doc.
Good, thank you. And then one of our biggest sellers has an appropriate title.
I got that one too, Doc.
Dead Doctors Don't Lie. We've sold over 300 million copies of this book. Dead Doctors.
Yeah, over 350 million copies of the lecture, and the book is not too far behind.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the lecture is available as well as the books. And we just had a medical library in Minnesota order 100 copies of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. So that was just a couple of days ago. So that was good. Somehow somebody gave him a copy and said, oh my gosh, we got to get this here and have all these medical students read this one. Okay. So, and then of course we have the Hell's Kitchen. The Hell's Kitchen is a beautiful book because it was published in 2024. 2024.
Oh, 2004. 2004.
Excuse me, yeah, 2004. Now it's 2024. 2004. Okay. And it was one of the first big publications on a specific disease. Okay. It was called metabolic syndrome. And you see the fat guy with abdominal obesity on the cover. And it talks about the metabolic syndrome and that orange strip across the front. Okay. Yeah. And the subtitle was the metabolic syndrome. Okay. And the metabolic syndrome goes back 2,000 years because the symptoms were all talked about in the Old Testament, the Old Bible. And so they knew about it. Okay. The Old Testament. They knew about it. And they knew about the bone broth and all that kind of stuff. And so they were really working hard to heal people and prevent problems and so forth. But they didn't have enough information to get in the right area. But suddenly, there's people stumbling on things and their village would pick up on it and then the next door village and so on. But chapter 14 goes into great detail of the history of the metabolic syndrome. And right now, 1 out of 3, 30%, actually 33% of adult Americans have the metabolic syndrome. 1/3 of the American adults have the metabolic syndrome. And so you need to read that book. You need to read that chapter once a month, chapter 14. And then, of course, the book, The Truth About Nutrition, that's an awakener. How many people are killed by the medical system each year in America? Okay.
Yep. So I've got The Truth of Nutrition here also. And folks, you can find Dr. Wallach's books at drjwallach.com. That is DRJWALLACH.com. And he has 25 books published, and several of them are on the bestsellers list, as he is a researcher, an author, and more importantly, he is a teacher. He wants to make sure that people understand that there are things that they themselves can do to help themselves.
That's right. To prevent
empowered me.
to prevent and reverse these diseases.
So with over 600 different poor health symptoms being specifically nutrient deficient, it's pretty easy to prevent things. Am I wrong?
You're correct.
So, yeah, folks, you're an empowered individual. Hands down, you are an empowered individual. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Arm yourself with knowledge. You're in the right place to get solutions. So if you're not working with somebody already, well, if you are working with somebody, make sure that you get back with them. Say, hey, I watched this show. I'm more empowered than I think I am. Can you help me find solutions for what I have going on? And if you're not working with somebody, I have an amazing team of certified holistic health coaches that are available for those who have never tried the products before. They've never spoken to anybody about Dr. Wallach or longevity before. You can reach them at 855-949-3377. This program is sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. We do have a contact option there as well that you can use. We also have the store there. So if you've never tried any of the products that Dr. Wallach is going to be recommending for people coming up here quick, or the glucogel, which we've already spoken about, you can find that on our website. And if you're already part of the longevity family, you can also log in with your current preferred customer information and check out there as well. Well, Dr. Wallach, we do have questions that are being posted in the chat. We also have Sherry and individuals with their hands up. So let's go ahead and move right over to some questions, Dr. Wallach, before we run out of time. So we have Sherry. Sherry, what questions do you have today? Please unmute yourself.
All right, I'd be happy to help with that. Hello, Dr. Wallach. We have two questions. One is from Annette. She would like to know how to treat Paget's disease for her husband, who's 75 years old. He weighs 210 pounds. He had heart quadruple bypass surgery 26 years ago. So what should she do to treat Paget's disease, or he do?
Okay. So how much is he weighs 210
pounds.
210 pounds. Okay. So his heart condition is his worst complaint.
Well, it's Paget's disease that he's concerned about, although he did have heart bypass surgery 26 years ago.
Okay. What symptoms are in Paget's disease?
I don't know. You got me.
I know.
What?
So, and I was going to ask the question, Dr. Wallach, what's the difference between Paget's disease and osteoporosis of the skull? Paget's disease is the thickening of the skull, where it's losing its structure, which is very similar to, if not the same, as osteoporosis of the skull, where you start losing some of the function of the body, and it's not because of where the function is being lost, but it's because those nerves are being squeezed as they're coming out of the foramen magma. Did I say that right?
Yeah. Okay.
And it's causing her pain.
So this is why we came up with this book. I was getting so many questions like you're giving me here. Okay. Okay, about about Paget's disease and all these symptoms, and doctors are, you know, for instance, ringing in the ears and deafness, and they're doing surgery in the ear and all this and the other, and it didn't help. They still had the ringing in the ears. That's because they had osteoporosis of the skull. Okay, and you can go to page 6 and open it up. On page 6, okay, the top skull, they have removed the top of the skull, and the camera's looking down on the brain. Okay, you can see the skull, the top skull is a quarter of an inch thick. Lift it up a little bit. There you go, thank you. The second one is the one with osteoporosis. They've taken the top of the skull off, the camera's looking down on the brain. But the skull, instead of a quarter of an inch thick, which should be normal, is 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick. And all of the tunnels that the 12 pairs of cranial nerves in the spinal cord are going through have been reduced in internal diameter by like 95%, putting the squeeze on them. And it produces 50 different diseases. And doctors just love that. They're sending them to all these different specialists, this, that, and the other. They're giving them drugs to reduce this pain and that pain and this symptom. But I'm the guy that came out with the idea that there's something else going on there, because I'm seeing it all on the autopsy table. Okay, why are they not talking about this in the clinical papers that came along with the body? There was never any clinical information about osteoporosis in the skull that came along with the body, but when I would look at the skull, it had osteoporosis of the skull. Okay, and so this is why we came up with a book. It's all in your head, and there's a CD that goes along with it. Okay, to deal with the CD deals with the spinal cord. There's a big hole in the back of the skull where the spinal cord is coming out of, goes down by 95%, closes down on the spinal cord. There you go, causing all kinds of things from there all the way down to your big toe. Okay, everything along the way gets dealt with when your skull is squeezing that spinal cord. And you're going to back doctors, you're going to lung doctors, heart doctors, hip doctors, big toe doctors. Okay, and it's because they're not, what can I say? Okay, so
Which is
let's move on.
Doc. Yeah.
Okay.
So what is your full recommendation for somebody that
so
is experiencing
210
Paget's disease?
210 pounds. You got to get rid of all the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, no brown oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet ones got to go. 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. The full dose for breakfast dinner time. Then they need the Cardio FX. Take 3 of those at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That'll be 3 bottles a month because it's little bottles of Cardio FX. Okay. And then they need the I-26. Go ahead and take 3 of those chewables or 3 capsules twice or 3 times a day, and it'll rebuild the white matter of the brain and spinal cord. And then let's see here. Don't forget vitamin D3 if you live in a place where there's not a lot of sun or you don't go outside at all and take a sun bath 2 or 3 days a week. Go ahead and take our vitamin D3, throw that in there, and you'll see miracles. You'll see miracles. Okay. And I would also throw in one more thing: the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. That's going to deal with blood pressure, blood flow through blocked arteries in the heart and the kidneys. Get the kidneys working better. Get your bones working better. Get your liver working better. Get your heart working better. Get your brain working better. Okay.
Thank you so much, Doc. There's one more question I have for you from Janet. She would like to know what she can do for arthritis in the wrist.
Arthritis in the wrist?
That's right.
Okay, well, if you have arthritis in the wrist, you have arthritis in every bone in your body. You don't just get it in one bone or one joint. So she must be doing something. She must be pushing something with that arm, and that wrist is showing up first because she's doing something that puts exertion and load on that one joint. But I guarantee you, she got arthritis in all the joints of her body. So again, she needs to get a hold of Let's Play Doctor, tells you how to diagnoses. Okay, we have Rare Earth Spin Cures, teaches you about diagnoses as well as what supplements to use. But the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, okay, which is the Healthy Start Pack and the Glucogel and the MSM. Okay, and people say, well, why don't they just take the Glucogel and the MSM? Because you're not going to get the results you're looking for. Okay, that's like saying, well, on the dashboard, the light for the oil is up, so I'm going to wash my car. Okay, to make the car look prettier, but it's not going to help the heater and the engine and all that kind of stuff. Okay, you have to really get down and deal with where the problem is. And that's why we came out with the book, It's All in Your Head. That's why we came out with the book, The Truth About Nutrition. That's why we came out with the book. Let's see here. Oh, the metabolic syndrome. Gosh, the metabolic syndrome. We came out with the book in 2004, Hell's Kitchen. And then, of course, we have Rare Earth Spin Cures. We have epigenetics. We started a whole new science to cover this thing because doctors were missing it by 1,000,000 miles. So we came out with the book. Okay. Epigenetics, 500 pages.
I got you, Doc.
Okay, 500 pages. Okay, and it goes into how to diagnose, how to treat, and how to help as many people as you can. And of course, I received many, many international awards for being one of the founders of that science of epigenetics, which has replaced genetics. There are no genetically transmitted diseases.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. And Dr. Wallach, going back to Andrea, she said, while trying to assist her hubby with the torn meniscus, he has been able to lift his right arm higher than shoulder height, which that must have been a problem before, this week. And he was able to raise his right hand over his head and touch his left ear. So going like this. Now, I know a lot of people that have shoulder issues and cannot do that. And just working on helping another area of the body has allowed him to be able to do this, which is just proof that when we give the body what it needs, the body itself can do amazing things, not just in that one thing. Like you said, if you've got arthritis in your wrist, it's not just in your wrist. That's only where you're feeling it at the moment, but the whole entire body. So Andrea, thank you so much for sharing that. And she goes on to say, Dr. Wallach has been teaching common sense selfishly, or as I think it's supposed to be unselfishly.
Unselfishly.
For many years. She saw you in person a long time ago in St. Louis promoting the Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And he talks to people in terms that they understand. Her takeaway has always been in the simplest words: support the host and your body will heal. There are no medications that do not have unintended consequences. And this is something I've never thought about. Okay. God the Father, Mother Earth, Ephesians 6:2-3 says, honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment, with promise that it may be well with you and you may live long on earth. So I think that's very beautiful. And being able to link the mother father to something other than, the mother and the father. So absolutely. Now, Dr. Wallach, we have another person with their hand up. Jill, go ahead and unmute yourself. What question do you have for Doc today? Go ahead, Jill. We hear you.
I know. Give me a second. I'm trying to change my audio. Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So 5 minutes ago, I met a woman who I would say is 61, and she said she has CMT. I believe she had it from a young age, and I think it stands for Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, which doctors say is an inherited genetic condition with the nervous system. So what can we do for her?
Well, you know, there's no genetic diseases.
I know,
And you say she's 61 years old. Okay.
yes.
She got degenerative disc disease and what else?
No, she has the CMT. She has the CMT, which is Charcot-Marie tooth disease, which
Mhm.
is supposed to be an inherited peripheral nervous system disease with progressive weakness and muscle wasting in her arms, legs, and hands.
Okay. So she's getting rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bar, rye, oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. The diet one's got to go. And then it's, let's see here. Did we get a weight on her?
I would say she's about 130, 135.
135. Okay. Well, since she's had this for a long time, let's go with 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month, a full dose of breakfast, full dose of dinner time. I want her also to get our I-26. Go ahead and take 3 of the chewables twice a day, or 3 of the capsules twice a day, or 3 of the servings of the powder twice a day, whichever is better for her. And that's going to help rebuild the white matter of the brain and spinal cord. It's going to take some time because it's been going on for a long time. Okay. And I would also have her take, let's see here, I would have her take the, what? I need her to have some more nerve stuff.
The
The nerve stuff. So,
synaptive.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Synaptive. That's what we're looking for. Synaptive. Go ahead and take 3 twice a day. And I think 1 bottle will do it per month. Okay, it's a big glass bottle. Synaptive. I take 2 or 3 of those twice a day myself. Synaptive. And that will help the nerves work. But that I-26 is going to rebuild the white matter of the brain and spinal cord. And people really get cheated because everybody loses that white matter of the brain and spinal cord because they're listening to the doctors and not eating eggs and giving up cholesterol. Well, cholesterol makes up 88% of your brain. Okay, we even have a program in I-26 for dogs, because dogs have a brain and spinal cord, and they, start losing that, especially if they're getting canned and dry dog food and they're not getting everything they need, and that they would if they're getting some meat or eggs or something like that, or table scraps on top of the dry dog food or canned dog food. And so that's why the dogs get crazy and forget who they are and do crazy things. Why did little Frankie do that? Okay. Start urinating in the house instead of whining at the front door to go outside because it's time of day. Okay. And we have to take care of the little puppy dogs, myelin in the brain and spinal cord, just like we have to take care of ours. Okay, because when they're out there in the wild and they're eating an animal they just caught, they eat the fat and all that stuff. So, and they eat the spinal cord and they eat the brain and the nerves. Okay,
Thank you, Doc.
you bet.
All right. Thank you, Jill and Dr. Wallach. I have a question here in the chat from DK regarding a 55-year-old male, 5'10", 170 pounds. He is on the
Did
90
you say
and
170 or 170 or 107?
yes, 170.
Okay.
This individual has tinnitus and he has had it for some time. There's tingling in the first, second, and third toe and in the middle of the arch of the bottom of the foot. He has tested by audiologist with reduced hearing in the right ear. He has your book, It's All in Your Head, and will definitely increase supplements. He wants to put a note in here, and we want to thank this individual for their service, as they were in Desert Storm as a corpsman. So, Dr. Wallach, we've got tinnitus, we've got tingling
in the toes.
in the toes, the bottom of the feet.
How would the osteoporosis of the skull cause tingling in the toes?
Well, it's because it's the vagus nerve and all of those auxiliary
The
nerves.
10th cranial nerve goes all the way down from the brain all the way down to the toes. Okay, there you go. Very good. You get an A+. Okay, so it's one of those things where at 170 pounds, okay, this guy needs, let's see here, 2 healthy brain. Well, get rid of all the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, brown, rye, oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. The diamond's got to go. 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month, full dose twice a day. And needs the I-26, 3 doses a day. The I-26 to rebuild the myelin in the brain and spinal cord. Needs the, let's see here, vitamin D3. I'd go ahead and take 2 of those 3 times a day, unless it lives out in the sunshine and it's out there in the sun every day. Okay. And then needs the, I'd go with the OsteoFX, and go ahead and take an ounce of that, the liquid OsteoFX, take an ounce of that twice a day, okay, for more minerals. And so this is very important. And then for energy, use the Rebound. You're going to get, I think it's 75 minerals and 15 or more of the, let's see here, vitamins and amino acids, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So I've had people had tingling in their legs for years and years and years and years. And just 2 weeks time on this program, it all goes away. Same way with tinnitus and ringing in the ears. And doctors will say, well, you don't, you've got tinnitus in your ears. We're going to need to do surgery and give you hearing aids and all that kind of stuff. I said, well, give me a month first. And usually within 2 to 6 weeks, we rebuild the skull enough so that it takes the pressure off the 7th and 8th cranial nerve, which is what causes tinnitus in the ears. Okay, 7th and 8th cranial nerves. And then, of course, the tingling in the toes is the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve. Okay, and so doctors don't get this training in school. Okay, they get trained symptoms of tinnitus, ringing in the ears, tingling in the toes, take this drug. That's what they get taught in school. And that's why we're so far behind so many other countries. That's why we came up with the book, The Truth About Nutrition. Everybody needs to read this one once a month. The Truth About Nutrition. Why you need to be taking. You cannot just eat well. Eating well is not nearly enough. Is not nearly enough. And,
That's right.
And just as Rebecca said,
Well,
I just
yeah, we don't get it in our food.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, as Rebecca said, it's one of those things where we have to pay attention to all the details. Attention to all the details. The details, of course, are the nutrients. And so this is why we came up with the book. It's all in your head. All in your head. Every family should have a couple of those. It's all in your head. Get the one in the package with the CD. The CD covers all the spinal cord stuff. And the rest of the book covers the 12 pairs of cranial nerves and the diseases you get when a cranial nerve is squeezed by the skull as it's trying to get out through those tunnels that you're now blocked. Okay. And so, again, I'm seeing all these people with osteoporosis of the skull on the autopsy table. Now we go look at the clinical data that the doctor sent to us along with the body. And there was nothing about osteoporosis in the skull in any of them. None of them ever said anything about osteoporosis of the skull. And everybody who were having those types of problems had osteoporosis of the skull. And so that's when I said, okay, enough is enough. That's why we're coming out with this book. And we've already sold, I don't know how many, but it's got to be close to 1 million. A book. It's
I don't know about 1 million, Dr. Wallach.
Okay, 999,000.
Well, there's been a lot. We've had to reorder 2,500 multiple times. That's for sure. So, Dr. Wallach, we have time for one more question, and
Okay.
I apologize for those have their hands up or questions that we did not get to. Marilyn, go ahead and unmute yourself. What question do you have for Dr. Wallach today?
Okay, hello everyone. I have a woman, 130 pounds, 5'7". Her systolic blood pressure is 90. She says she gets dizzy a lot, especially when she's lying down and stands up. And she's wondering, why does she have low blood pressure? She is not an athlete. and what can she do about it?
Okay, well, the dizziness might be caused by osteoporosis of the skull. Does she have any ringing in your ears? Does she have any?
She has a little bit of ringing in the ears.
Okay, yeah, she's got osteoporosis of the skull. Okay, that's why she's dizzy. Okay, that's the seventh and, excuse me, the eighth and seventh and eighth cranial nerves. Okay, getting squeezed by the skull. She needs to get a hold of the book. With let's see here, it's all in your head. The one with the disc, so she covers the spinal cord and everything. Don't forget the I-26. I-26. Okay, so either 3 of the I-26 chewables twice or 3 times a day. Then would also another choice. We have the I-26 capsules. We also have the powder. So it's her choice. Okay. And for the blood pressure, she needs the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. Go ahead and take 3 of those twice a day. That will, which I say, help with the normalized blood pressure. Okay, and then of course, 130 pounds, she needs 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month. Take a half a dose of everything at breakfast, half a dose of everything at dinner time. And don't forget that I-26, and everything's going to come right. But she needs to get a hold of the book so she understands what's going on here, because her doctor doesn't understand. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt and assume he doesn't understand. Okay, it's all in her head. Okay, and get the one that has the CD with it, because she's got some disc stuff going on also. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, great question. Thank you so much. And Dr. Wallach, really quick, we have an individual who is losing the curvature in her neck. So the head is not able to hold upright, goes down. What you've been recommending today, is that going to be beneficial to that as well?
Yeah, this.
So it's all in your head.
Yeah, this, of course, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Don't forget the glucogel and the MSM for the disc, the tendons and ligaments. Okay. And don't forget the I-26 for the brain and the spinal cord. And let's go there.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. And we are at the top of the hour. If I could get the co-hosts on with me, Dr. Wallach, thank you so much for another great hour of information and unselfishly sharing your time with us as we are making an effort to help ourselves, help
We're
our
family.
communities.
We're family. We are family.
That's
And so
right.
we're family. And so this is what families do. Families help each other. Okay, they support each other. They make sure everything's going on the rails and so on. And so our family is worldwide. We're in over 80 countries. We deal with billions of people, and we're so very, very proud to help so many. Thank each and every one of you for being part of our program, because you are helping people. You are God's angels, and we love you for it.
Well, we love you, Dr. Wallach, for giving us this mission and the solutions to be able to help so many others. And we started with ourselves, each and every one of us here. Well, there is one person that started to help somebody else. They didn't take it, and then they decided to take it themselves, and they got great results. So, you know, we are products of the product, Dr. Wallach. We are all recipients of better health because of the work that you have done. And somebody had asked, where do you find Dr. Wallach's articles that have been published? Not just the books, but the articles prior to that. You can find that on the official website that shares his information about him and all that he's done at thewallachfiles.com. And if you have any questions in regards to that, feel free to go to dailywithdoc.com or send us questions at dailywithdoc.com, and we'll make sure that we get answers for you and get you connected with the solutions that you yourself may be looking for to meet your health goals. So, yes.
Quickie here. You can, if you have any of my books, you can go into the index of the books in the back. Okay. Go into the references.
Very true.
Yeah, go into the references, and you'll find many of my publications. It'll tell you what journal to look at, and so you can call a medical library, see if they have those journals there, or veterinary library, see if they have those journals there. But of course, you're not going to see them all because I wrote hundreds of articles that have been published, maybe thousands, but I know multi-hundreds.
Well, I know, yeah, I know that there's over 70 listed on the wallachfiles.com, over 70.
Over
So
70, yeah.
you're right. In the back of Dr. Wallach's books that you can find at drjwallach.com, there is a list of the articles. And I think the most comprehensive lists, Dr. Wallach, are going to be in Dead Doctors Don't Lie and in Epigenetics, in the back of those two books. Well, Doc, we just want to say thank you to you. We also want to say thank you to everyone who has joined us and here to listen and learn as we are presenting to you daily with Doc and Becca on all these different platforms. We want to know where you're at, where you're joining us from. And if you do have questions, again, just questions at dailywithdoc.com. If you would like to join us in our efforts to help others, we invite you to do that as well. If somebody specifically invited you, they are going to be your point of contact for that. If there's no one to thank, info@dailywithdoc.com or on our store. You can go to the store. There's some enrollment packages there, and we'll make sure that once you're enrolled, we get in contact with you and get you started in reaching your goals and helping you to find why it is that you want to join us on this crusade. Folks, my name is Becca Dukes. I just want to do quick shout outs to Sherry Browning, part of our technical staff, helping to keep the stream going. Ruth Ellen, who is capturing the stream so that it can be sent out. So thank you, Ruth Ellen, as my executive production manager. We have Albert down in South Africa helping to let people in and helping to monitor the safety of this Zoom room. And we have AJ also doing the same and all the above, as he's very studious in making sure everything is going correctly. Yep. And we have Marilyn, who is amazing at her typing skills and putting the information that is being shared in the program into that chat, which is one of the best reasons for being here live with us on Daily with Doc. Everybody, a fantastic day, and we will see you tomorrow again on Daily with Doc and Becca. We are here most Mondays through Fridays from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific time. That is 1 o'clock Mountain, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. And beyond that, just ask Google, Siri, Alexa. She'll give you an answer. Join us next time. Oh, here she popped up. Have a fabulous day. Bye for now.
Alles van die beste. Tot ziens. Lekker.
This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.